Hi, I'm Honey, and welcome to another vlog. This time, I want to talk about the vacation that I just came back from, that I took Sky and Midlit, and we went to upstate New York. When I say New York, everybody assumes like New York City. No. We went to upstate New York. This is the fourth summer that I have vacationed, and basically the only reason I can is I stay with family friends. And because I'm staying with family, I'm able to not have any food costs and not have any, hotel costs or gas costs. And yeah. So it's a good deal for me, right? And I get to, of course, see friends that I've made, friends that I had. You visit someplace for a few weeks every year, and you make friends, right? And so I got to see people that I only get to see once in a while, and it was so much fun. And like I said, this year, Midlet and Sky went with me. Sky just graduated high school, and it was sort of a graduation present slash vacation all rolled into one. It wasn't something that was really planned. It was kind of a last minute decision, and we got our flight, bought our tickets for the flights and went. Now, the flights are probably the biggest part of this dang story. Uh, I ended up tweeting about it, just talking to people. I always try to let people know, where I'm at, kind of keep pictures going when I'm on vacation, etc. I just think it's fun, to show you guys what I'm doing. Part of what I do is I share my life with everybody. And it started off like we were literally standing there, we're all excited. Sky's like, 4.5 hours, 4.5 hours, team, and we land and we'll be in New York. And then we never boarded our plane. Instead of being in New York at midnight in 4.5 hours, we got on a Friday night, we got there at 6 o'clock at night the following Saturday. It was ridiculous. There was a mechanical issue, and an hour later, they were still waiting for the people to show up to look at the issue, and we were now going to miss our layover. Which, because Midlet, she did very well on the trip, but she does not like the waiting part. Like we have a wheelchair and we have toys and we've got noms and all that stuff, but sitting and waiting in the airport, she's not happy. She gets stressed at security. Oh my goodness, security. She gets that's coming later. She gets stressed at security. She doesn't like waiting. There's a lot of people coming and going. It's a little bit too much, and it's just kind of overwhelming for her. And so I try to keep my layovers like within an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. Well, we had like an hour layover, and suddenly, hello, we're going to miss our next flight. So we make arrangements, and they're like, well, there's nothing we can do to get you out until the next day. And the next day at 9 in the morning. So they put us up at a hotel, because you have to understand, the airport here isn't, just down the road. The airport, I'm in Topeka, Kansas. The airport is MCI in Kansas City, Missouri. It's a 90-minute drive with a toll road. It costs $6 and takes you an hour and a half to get there and back. Well, 3 hours if you figure they're there and back. Okay? So, it costs $3 each way on the toll road, and it's a pain. And it's a stressful little drive there. It's really, really congested, etc. Anyway, so, it's like, well, Nibby's almost home now. I can't exactly call her to turn around and come back. I mean, I could, but it was ridiculous because we had to do it all again the next day, and she has to work. So they put us up in a hotel, and there was a shuttle from the airport to the hotel. So they covered that. They gave us a voucher so we could have dinner, which we ended up going to Cracker Barrel, which we could walk to from our hotel, which was lovely. And we were really, like, Sky was spitting mad, but we tried to make the best of it, right? Sunny side. So it's like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay. We start our vacation tonight. We just have an adventure in this hotel that we didn't want to be at. And, let's try to have a nice dinner. And the hotel had a breakfast that morning, so we kind of got a breakfast, and then we went off to the airport, where we had another mechanical problem. 40 minutes later, they were scheduling us to get on a different flight. By the time they got all that sorted, we had about a 30-minute wait to boarding. And because Midlet's disabled, we are usually one of the first people to get on the plane, which is good because otherwise she would walk by everybody and like tap them on the head and put spitty fingers on their shoulders and stop to look at everybody's jewelry and painted fingernails and hats and whatever. So anyway, it is most amusing. But anyway, so we finally get to go. And because of these delays, they ended up giving us another voucher for food that day at the airport in Chicago. So we had just enough time to land, get a meal before we got on the next plane to get there, so at like 2 in the afternoon we got we were finally there and settled and all that stuff. It was so ridiculous, but we finally got there. Now the airport ended up saying, hey, because you lost a day. Actually, I poked them because Sky was fussy, and we kind of worked it out. And it was like, okay, we lost an entire day because of this. So they said, well, we'll extend your day instead of you going home on Monday night. How about we send you home on Tuesday night? Similar arrival times. I'm like, okay, you know what? That's fine. So they bumped everything over. We get to the plane to go home, and it's. First of all, I was getting text messages saying your plane's delayed, and it turns out it was weather. So the weather in Chicago shut down the airport, but they didn't know for sure. They were trying. So eventually, after our plane is like 3.5 hours delayed, I get no more notifications. It's like, hey, we're supposed to go. It's like 2 hours delayed. We finally go ahead and go to the airport because, hey, I'm no longer getting updates. It's set to leave in an hour and 20 minutes, right? So we get there, we say our goodbyes, we are up there, and they're like, yeah, your plane hasn't left Chicago yet. They've been boarded and waiting for the last 2 hours. Like an hour and a half later, they called it and said, sorry, everything's shut down. Our plane actually took off and then was directed back to the gate because the weather was bad. They're like, oh, maybe there's a slight opening in the cell, and they sent them off, and then they had them come right back. So at least we weren't in Chicago on the plane sitting there the whole time. But anyway, so I went ahead and told the end of the story and the beginning of the story all mushed together. So I just want to get the airport done. As far as the other security airport thing that we had, there were 2 incidents. One was they really, really, really wanted Midlit to do the scanner. And I told them she can stand. Oh, it's only like half a second. Like she can stand for a moment, but I don't know that she, will do exactly the position you want. Let's try. They insisted we try. So we get her in there, and the little yellow feet that they want you to stand on is a really wide stance for her. Like for us, it's normal, but for her, she's not, she's barely 5 foot tall. She's actually not quite 5 foot tall, but she's basically 5 foot tall, 85 pounds. And, crooked spine, pigeon-toed, difficult balance already. And they're making her, so I position her feet. They say, you can position her. So I try to position her feet, but it was really, really wide. She was not comfortable. She felt out of balance, and she immediately went splat and put her arms on the sides of the thing. Which she did when we first walked in. We walked in and she went, bam, hold on to the walls. Because we always hold on to the walls. No, I totally didn't put my phone on vibrate. Anyway, so she always hold on to the walls, right? Hold on to the walls. Or hold our hands. So the first thing she said, calibrate. So they recalibrate it. They have me position her. And they're like, okay. So I don't think this is going to go. They're like, well, go ahead and try. Let go of her hands, step out, and then you can come right back in when we call you and get her. The moment I let go of her hands, she smacked the walls again, held onto the walls, and was very upset. She was very, very upset. She's like, no, she was uncomfortable. She was off balance, and she was upset. So we got her out of there. We moved her around in the wheelchair, did a quick pat down. They rubbed her hands, all that stuff, made sure she was good. On the way back home, different airport, different security team, and they say, okay, instead of wheeling her wheelchair around and just doing the scans, they said, is she able to walk? I said, she can walk a few steps, but she's very, she has very poor balance, and we always hold her hand. Okay, well, we'll just need her to walk through the The metal detectors. Okay, I've done that before, like, going into a courthouse or something. I've done that before. But I'm not allowed to be there any part of it. So they take her by the hands and they're like, and they get her all riled up, almost like she was like a dog or something. Okay, okay, go over there, go over to whatever her name is, go over to what's her face, go through, go through. And Midlet, she is all sorts of excite. She bends down, starts pumping her arms, and just takes off like a bat out of hell. Now, Midlet doesn't look at her feet to walk. So if there's something in the way, she will trip. If there is a stair, she steps forward, falls to the stair, and then steps forward and falls to the stair. She doesn't have any sense of, hey, I need to look at what's in front of me. She just goes. She also tends to lean forward. And the more she leans forward, the faster her little feet go to keep her from falling over. And the faster her feet go, the more she leans forward to balance herself. And suddenly, she is pumping and going and laughing maniacally and making a break for somewhere. She passes, I kid you not, 6 different security people and nobody stops her. I run through the metal detector, holler in, grab her, stop her, somebody, for God's sake, somebody get my baby. Because I was terrified she was going to fall down and bust her face open. And we'd have a hospital trip. It was just like, oh my goodness, she was going to get hurt. I run through, not one soul touches her. They all just are like, watching her take off. I get to her. By the time I get to her and I wrap my arms around her from behind, she is bent. Like I kid you not, 45 to 60 degree angle. She's just bent forward, like almost in half, just going, here we go, here we go, here we go. And now she's very upset. And I give her a hug, and it's okay, and I talk to her, and I'm trying to make sure everything's good. But now to go sit down, she's expended energy, she's confused, everybody's looking at her, she's upset. So, yeah. So our biggest adventures were the airport. So that was definitely the highlight of our vacation. I not necessarily the good parts, but that was definitely a big part of our vacation, was just the saga of the traveling. And it's interesting because lots of people say, oh yeah, delays all the time. I've never had a problem at all. And then this trip, it's like, yep, well, it's time for you to have all the problems. I just could not believe the irony of every single thing that could go wrong, of course, did. But anyway, it was exciting. It was incredible. Overall, Millie did very, very well. She definitely was stressed. She definitely, was into some self-picking and issues with that. I shared a bed with her. I shared a blow-up mattress, like a queen size and or a full, whatever it was. I did wake up one morning and she had wet out of her diaper, so I did roll over to the surprise of holy crap, I just rolled into pee. So that was fun. But besides that one particular incident, we had no problem. Sharing our bed, and we had a great time. Sky loved the area and got to meet people that she had seen pictures of, and I had talked about at the church that I went to, and we got to go and see Minden Ponds, which is kind of a lake, wooded forest lake area, and we got to see a choke cherry tree or bush, choke cherry bush area, which we had no idea. But of course, it's upstate New York, really close to Canada. But that was really cool because that's the choke cherry jams that we really loved that we got to experience from Lost Ark, who sent us that in a honey mail last year. So really, it was just kind of neat to see that. We just had a great time. We played games and we talked and we hung out in a hot tub every night we could, and we ate so much amazing stuff, and we had Pack drive us to all of the Asian markets possible, and actually we saw another one like one of our last days that we didn't stop in because they were closed. But like we went to like 4 different international Asian type markets. It was really, really cool. I had been to all of those before, but she hadn't. So we just had a great time. It was really nice to just kind of have a bit of a break and some vacation time. And there's a lot of stuff and things going on in our life right now that are kind of stressful, and especially for Sky, just graduating and all. And she just turned 18, she just graduated. There's just a lot of stuff happening, and so it was just kind of nice for her to have some space and just enjoy her time. And we really really enjoyed it. Of course, we did get to hang out and watch Pac do a daily on Splunky one day, which was much fun. Those of you who haven't seen it, you need to look it up. And he called it Live Audience. So the one that's called Live Audience, Sky and I are sitting behind him, laughing. And I think at one point you see Sky's hand poking, if I remember right. Anyway, so anyway, we did have a good time. I missed you guys greatly, but it was just really, really nice to have that time where I've been, like I said, to this particular part of upstate New York 4 summers in a row, and to get to share that with a couple of my daughters was a nice experience. And I cannot tell you how incredibly grateful I was to do so. And with all the problems and all the things, and missing 2 days, coming home 2 days late, which was stressful beyond belief, because we had it planned where I had time to catch up with things before the marathon, and suddenly it was like, oh man, everything has to be done, slam. But I was extra extra grateful for my job and the flexibility that I have within that. The ability to say, hey, you know what? It's okay. I can, it's okay, hon. We'll look forward to you coming back, but stuff happens. You're not going to get fired because there was airport issues. And I was just so overwhelmingly aware of how blessed I am to be able to even say, hey, I'm going on vacation when taking a couple of my kids, to know that I can do that and come back and go right back to work. And you guys are all good with that. You guys are all okay with that. In fact, you were happy. I mean, you wanted us to be back and you missed me, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, you were happy for us to have our time as a family. And one of the things that's interesting, that you guys may not think about with my job, is because most of my hours are at night, that actually is kind of like difficult on a personal level, because a lot of times, hey, people want to get together at night and have dinner, or get together at night and watch a movie or whatever, because they're working during the day. And that's when I go to work. So there are a lot of times where there's sort of that conflict, like the other night or in the past, people will come over because they need to come over and see me then, and that's the only time they can, is when I'm working. So it's like, okay, I gotta pause, and then I'll go talk to my kiddos or do what we gotta do, and I'll come back. So yeah, I love my job. I'm not complaining about my hours at all. I'm just kind of pointing out that one of the difficulties is I am live and working in the prime time that, maybe my family would want to do a thing. And so it was just really nice to be able to take some time and do those things and get to experience that with some of my kiddos. So anyway, we did have a wonderful time. I tweeted some random things. So if you're not following me on tweeters, why not? Because there's always cool pictures, like a rat in a suit with a ridiculous bow tie, because we made him model walk for us at the thrift store. And we went to thrift stores. We went to 2 thrift stores, and oh man, we came home with awesome stuff from the thrift stores. We were so excited. So anyway, I just wanted to give you guys a vlog and fill you in a bit on what we did and what happened while we were gone, and tell you that yes, we missed you. Yes, I'm glad to be back, and you all are the best. To be able to say that I am a fan-funded streamer and that I can do this, entertainer, whatever, and I can do this as my living, and not just barely make it, but be able to do a trip. Yeah, I know I charge the plane tickets, but I'm paying that off, right? But to still be able to do that, to take that time to go there, and to be able to feel fairly comfortable doing that and not terrified. is incredible. So anyway, that's our vacation vlog. Thank you so much. I hope you had fun. Until next time, bye.